Is there any doubt? Okay, we're about 5 seconds. Okay. Welcome to the 2026 Mayoral Candidate Forum. We are so glad that you're here and that you've joined us. Today's event is sponsored by Better Together New Mexico and Calvary Rio Rancho Cultural Impact Team. So we're excited to have this. This is an important event for us. I am Pastor Roy Weaver, and I'll be the moderator for today's forum. We're thankful for the many Rio Rancho residents that are here today and watching online as well. In addition, we have a collaboration of a number of churches in the Rio Rancho area that have come together and wanted to be a part of this. So they're represented. If they're not here, they're represented online. So with that, they wanted to represent, the churches did, the moral issues that our city faces, and so that's who you're talking to today. So with that, as you should expect, any good pastor worth his salt would open with a prayer, and we're going to do that as well. So, Lord, we come to you. You have placed us here in this city, and we seek its peace as your word calls for us to do. We seek to represent light in the darkness, to be bold and unashamed for what you stand for, and to root out any evil that desires to creep into the places we call home. Guide us, lead us, and direct us as we move forward. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. All right. Well, candidates, good afternoon. We're so pleased that you're here and have joined us. There's one other candidate that could not make it. I'm glad you're here, though, for the grilling you're about to receive. Yeah. So on March 3rd, our city will elect a new mayor. Our current mayor, Greg Hull, has faithfully led this city for the past 12 years. And we are grateful for his leadership and the role he's played in making Rio Rancho a great place to live. We're proud of our city. We believe it is a rose among thorns. And we want to continue and to prosper our city and have a great place to live as well as that grows. So 5 of the 6 candidates I said are here. The other one could not be here due to a prior engagement. Now, candidates, we want to thank you for your willingness to participate in the democratic process. It allows everyday citizens to make their voices heard here and to shape our future of our city. The citizens of Rio Rancho are in many ways conducting a job interview, and that's what you're here today for. We're going to interview you, and we're hoping that you answer the questions in that format, that you want this job and you're going to tell us why you're the best candidate for it. The previous forum focused primarily on the infrastructure of our city, and tonight's discussion will focus more on how you would govern if you were elected mayor. We understand that a person's values and benefits or beliefs help shape public policy. Issues such as public safety, housing, protection of our children, transparency in government, and the overall moral direction of our city are influenced by your worldviews. As citizens, we want to know where you stand on these important matters, what values guide you, and how those values would impact your decision as mayor. The seating order was first come, first serve, so there's no favoritisms there, and the questions are going to be in order of their seating. So here's the agenda for this evening. Each candidate will begin with a 2-minute opening statement explaining why they believe they should be the next mayor of Rio Rancho. So we will then ask a series of questions submitted by the citizens of Rio Rancho, and each candidate will have 1 minute to respond to those questions. That will be followed by a series of yes or no questions where you can have up to 30 seconds to respond to those. And then finally, each candidate will have 2 minutes as their closing remarks and their final thoughts. Again, thank you for being here and engaged, for taking part in this forum and help shaping the future of Rio Rancho. Are you ready to begin? All right. We're going to start with Miss Owen Smith. Are you ready?
Is the mic on? Yes.
You're on.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Alicia Owen Smith. I'm a mother, wife, small business owner. I have worked in public service. I have a degree in healthcare administration, and I believe being community focused with the community. And I'm running for mayor to bring real change, stronger community, brighter future, and for everybody. That's it. I'm easy.
Okay, Mr. Meek, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. I'm Michael Meek. I'm running for the mayor of our fine city of Rio Rancho. I moved here in 1990 with my wife, and she is a neonatal intensive care nurse downtown for 35 years, saving all the premature babies, so she's a true hero in our family. My daughter just graduated from Grand Canyon University, summa cum laude, a product of our Rio Rancho school system, so we're very proud of the work they did for her. As my sign says, I've been serving the city since 1994. At 35 years old, I decided that I wanted to be an entry-level firefighter. And over the next 25 years, I worked through every position and made my way to chief, where I served proudly and made this city have the best fire department in the state. After that, I've done 2 terms now at Sandoval County Commission. And while I've been at the commission for the last 7 years, I've been working with other agencies to promote meaningful job growth in our community. Over the past 7 years, we've been responsible for 1,300 good-paying jobs and 9 refurbishings of businesses who have either moved here or just retooled their facilities so they could have more employees. So those are all important things we need. We need to have more jobs, not more houses here. And that's what I'll be concentrating on tonight. So thank you, Pastor Roy.
Thank you. Mr. Darden?
First of all, thank you. Okay. First of all, yeah, thank you guys for all showing up tonight. Super excited to be here. So you cannot change what you refuse to confront. That's Ephesians 4:22 and 24. So my name is Zachary Darden, for those who don't know me, and I'm just thankful to be on this podium. Like I said, surrounded by all these amazing individuals, surrounded by all these amazing residents. Like I'm just so blessed and thankful to be here. So New Mexico has been deemed as one of the worst states to raise a family in. However, the great city of Rio Rancho has been deemed one of the best cities to raise a family in. So what does that tell you? It tells you that we're doing something right. It tells you that the nation is watching, and most importantly, it tells you that we must continue to keep the torch of success lit for the future. With every lit torch, it comes time to pass it off to the next generation of leaders to carry. That's why I'm here. After working in local government for almost the last decade, I've learned one very important rule. It is the people who come first, not politics. I have learned that my goal of why I stand before you today is to not only keep this torch lit, but I want to personally blow new life into it and always keep division away from the city of vision. So, as I've been saying, my entire campaign slogan is this is a we race, not a me race. So I'm in this for you guys. I'm in this for the residents. I'm in this to make a city that we can all be proud of. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Mr. Weimer, 2 minutes.
Good
There's always got to be a mic test.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. Paul Weimer here. My commitment to Rio Rancho is second to none. I've been a resident here for 43 years. I raised 2 kids here. I'm currently the District 4 City Councilor, and prior to that, I served 12 years on the Planning and Zoning Board 6 years as an appointed volunteer for District 4. I'm running for mayor because I think we've done some amazing things here in our city during my tenure as councilor, and I want to continue that progress and expand on it. And I can give you some examples. I like to share these because they are important. Our national recognitions from national magazines and publications, best places to live for families. We just heard from Mr. Darden saying the same thing. Best places to retire, best places to live in the Southwest. These are amazing accomplishments and amazing acknowledgments of our successes. We can also point to the independently run citizen survey. Again, I repeat these numbers often. 90% feel safe from crime. 90% rate Rio Rancho as an excellent place to live. 94% say the quality of life is excellent to good. 93% say fire service is excellent or good. And 83% say the same for police. My platform is simple. I want to continue and expand on our successes. I want to build on the many positive accomplishments we've made during my tenure as city councilor. I want to continue to see our city lead in all the good things, all the positive things, like being a safe city, like having a wonderful school district, like having the best police and fire in the state. I have firsthand direct city government experience. I'm the only candidate who can say that. I'm proudly endorsed by Mayor Hull, police and fire, a small local business, as well as a former police captain and undersheriff, and also 3 of my fellow councilors. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rios, you have 2 minutes.
Testing, testing. Good evening, and thank you for being here. My name is Corinne Rios. I'm a wife, a mother, a grandmother, a retired educator, and a follower of Jesus. And I'm a proud wife and mother of veterans who have served this country. At 16, I became pregnant while still in high school. Even then, I decided I would finish school, get married, and earn my college degree before I had any more children. And I did just that, and became the first in my immediate family to get a college degree. When my son was 3, I met the man who is now my husband, and for 38 years, we built a family. We added 4 more children and made God-centered decisions on how we should raise them. Before homeschooling was common, we chose for me to stay home and educate my children. I have homeschooled 4 out of 5 of our children, and I'm on our last one. About 25 years ago, we made the decision not to vaccinate our children. In 2016, I wrote and began teaching the Flesh versus Spirit Bible Study, and in 2024, we established it as a 501c3 organization. I helped Denise Weaver gather signatures for the Rio Rancho Sanctuary City for the Unborn, and I worked to try to bring a baby box to our city with Suzanne Brunel. I also stood at City Hall against pornography in our public libraries, and I helped organize residents to stand against Ordinance 13 that would have eliminated voter ID in Rio Rancho. When I believe something is wrong, I act. I don't wait for a position or I don't wait for a title. When I see something is wrong, I try to make it right. Since I was 16 years old, my life has been shaped by conviction. If you want somebody to follow the rules, I'm that person. If you want somebody to follow through, I am that person. And if you want somebody to recognize that where we can improve our city, I'm that person. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, candidates. We're going to start with Ms. Owen Smith to have the first question. All right. Ms. Owen Smith, what is your background? What in your background has prepared you to take on the responsibilities of this office, and what experience do you have that makes you qualified to be mayor of Rio Rancho?
Yes, so every day I handle day-to-day operation with my business, so that requires checks and balance and knowing how to operate different things and know how to follow through as well. And I feel like they need to have someone that's going to continue doing great things for Rio Rancho. So yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Mr. Meek, same question.
Well, I would like to say that the most important part that we're going to need for the new mayor to do is to be able to work with other agencies. And I'm going to tell you my experience at the county is what I'm going to be bringing to the city of Rio Rancho. Just recently, we've got a new business on the outskirts of Rio Rancho that will employ 300 people and have an average salary of over $100,000 per position. They're investing $220 million into our community in the first 2 years. And this is the biggest economic development that has occurred since Intel came here. It's very important to be able to work with other agencies. The most important thing people are talking about in the whole country is economic development. You have to work with the state, county, and cities to get those things done. And I have that experience, and I'm going to bring it to the city, so thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Darden, 1 minute.
Yeah, so as I've said before, I've worked in local government for the last almost decade. I've worked for the United States Forest Service, I've worked for Bernalillo County, and I've worked for the city of Albuquerque. And I've learned 2 things. Number one, what to do when it comes to running local government organizations, and also what not to do when it comes to running local organizations. So an example of that, I think Albuquerque's doing some things right, but as we all see, they are doing some things incredibly wrong. So as somebody who's worked for Bernalillo County and City of Albuquerque, I know exactly how to keep this message of what we're saying in Rio Rancho moving forward. I've also worked as a GIS specialist and local planning department. There's a company out here called Site Southwest. So I understand what it takes to bring in public transit. I understand what it takes to bring in LCPs, which is a least cost path when it comes time to us to try to like save money in the way that we transport goods and things around our city. I've also worked as a former teacher. I started out teaching kindergartners, which for anybody has young children, that's the most challenging job I've ever had in my life. Like, I'll just say that right now. So I understand the importance of what it takes to support our schools. I also have worked
Time is up, sir.
Sorry about that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yeah. Mr. Weimer.
Thank you, Pastor. I was waiting for the ejection seat.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Evidently it didn't launch. Yeah.
Well, I'm too close to him, so I think. All right, well, I think I've actually already answered this question. I'm, as current city councilor for 6 years, and prior to that, planning and zoning board member for 6 years. I have the best and most accurate direct experience with the city. I've worked with Mayor Hull. I've worked with my fellow councilors. I've worked with city staff for all of that time. Yes, there have been changes in staff. There have been changes in the council, but I've worked well with all of them. I know how to balance the budget. I know what goes into that preparation. I know the processes. I know the DPM, and I work well with city staff as well as my fellow councilors. And I see my time's up.
Okay. 2 ejection seats didn't work. Okay, Mrs. Rios.
Okay, I think I remember the question. What makes me qualified for this position?
What in your background has prepared you to take on this responsibility, and what experience do you have that would lead to being a mayor?
Well, I've been a stay-at-home mom for 27 years, been balancing our books. Our credit rating is amazing. We have 2 rental properties that have not been foreclosed, and they're functioning very well. You know, I just have a renewed vision because I'm in the forefront. I'm not in Albuquerque working. I am in Rio Rancho with my children, and I know what we need here in Rio Rancho. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Meek, you get to start this one out. Could you give us your top 3 priorities as mayor?
Well, I'm glad you picked that because that was on my mailer, so I should be able to remember that.
You should know this one.
Well, the first thing is that we need to continue improving the roads. We need to keep the bond cycle going, but I do believe we need to spend more time looking into the #1 complaint in Rio Rancho. The other thing is we need to get jobs, more meaningful jobs, and most importantly, we need to fund our police department to the maximum. They are the best police department in the state. We cannot risk letting the crime come up the hill. We have great people, but we have to retain them and pay them appropriately. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you. Mr. Darden?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely, yeah. So 3 most important goals that I have is #1, environmental protection. So like I said, we're in one of the driest cities in New Mexico, and we have to protect our water and our soil and our air at all costs. Without water, we don't grow. The end. #2, I'm focused on public safety. As Mr. Meek said, that we are one of the safest cities right now in New Mexico, and we want to make sure that we keep that rapport with the Rio Rancho PD. And #3, I want to make sure that I'm focusing on government transparency. I want you guys to know exactly what we're focusing on and what we're doing, and I'm out of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Weimer?
Thank you, Pastor. I agree with Mr. Meek. Police and fire have got to be taken care of. They are our #1 priority, and we've got to make sure that we keep them happy and keep them here in our city. They are what makes our city safe. I also agree that roadway improvements need to continue. We've tackled those very, very efficiently, I guess I'd say, although we have a long way to go. So we've got to keep that high on the list. And then third, we've got to look closely at the budget. And again, I'm familiar with how that goes about, but we've got to look at that and see if we're allocating dollars correctly and in the best location that we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Rios?
Well, the number one job of the mayor is to preside at the meetings of the governing body. That's on his list of duties. That's the very first thing up there. And I will enforce the rules at the governing body meeting so that legislation is sponsored by our elected officials and not unelected bureaucrats. That's number one, what I would do. And I would also get the citizens more involved because you guys are smart. And we need your inputs and your insights. We need to open up that bring that utilities commission back. And I would actually like to do call of actions so our citizens know what the councilors are voting on, like Better Together New Mexico does so brilliantly. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mrs. Owen Smith.
They said testing. Okay, sorry. So they have said a lot of ones already, but I'm still saying it anyway. Continue keeping our neighborhoods safe, reliable water and resource for our small business owners, and making sure we bring our community together more. And then smart growth that allows our residents thrive and not continue surviving here in Rio Rancho. That's it.
Very good. Okay, Mr. Darden, you'll get this one to start with. We're all familiar with the homeless problem that Albuquerque has. How would you handle the homeless problem in Rio Rancho? Is there anything you would change? And if you could explain that.
Yeah, absolutely. So number one is I think we're doing a really good job of keeping our streets pretty clean. So obviously we want to prevent it before it begins. So we need to, like I said, work on the outskirts of the city and stop it before it trickles into like all of our neighborhoods. So number two, what I think is that mental health professionals right now are being severely underpaid. So those are the ones that are primarily having to deal with this situation. So I believe that we need to be paying our mental health professionals a lot more than we're doing. But number one, stopping it before it gets worse. So I'm out of time again.
All right. I know that's difficult to maintain that time. Yes, sir. Mr. Weimer.
Thank you, Pastor. So what we have done, and I've been a part of these decisions, is we've got ordinances that we passed that say, for example, camping overnight in parks or on public ways like sidewalks is illegal. We've enforced those rules. What that does is it doesn't, nobody gets arrested. The police stop them and say, move along, you're in violation of our ordinances. We do have food pantries here, 2 of them in the city. I think that's a good thing, but we don't have any other services for the homeless. There's no plan to do that. I think there's plenty of services in Albuquerque. So that's my response. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mrs. Rios.
We have a no prowling ordinance here in Rio Rancho, and we need to continue to enforce that. And residents need to understand that. It's not a no loitering. It's not against panhandling. It's actually called prowling. You cannot prowl in the city of Rio Rancho. So when you call the police officers, you let them know that you know the ordinances, and I think that will help greatly with the homelessness. We saw one just today by Dion's, picking up my daughter from Dion's today. I'm not comfortable with somebody homeless right around where my 16-year-old daughter works. And that's going to take the whole community to be calling in our law enforcement to take care of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Owen Smith.
Yes. I say continue hiring more police officers to tackle that.
Okay.
And pay them more and everything. And like she said, community call. You have to speak up. If you don't speak up, they will not know, honestly. So it's that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Meek?
My last couple of years as the fire chief, we worked with Sandoval Regional Medical Center. They had a bond, and they had money that they were using for behavioral health. So we were meeting with everybody, the police, the fire, which had paramedics, the hospitals with the nurses, and social workers. And it took several years, but there's a crisis intervention team, and hopefully that continues, where when we have a call to go out to respond to people that are out, that they don't only receive just a medical attention or some exposure to law enforcement, but they have the actual support from public agencies to put them on the right track, and I think that's the most important part.
Thank you very much. Okay, next question, Mr. Weimer, you will start this one. Lower income or subsidized housing has been placed in a number of locations in the city without regard to those living in those areas. What's your opinion concerning how and where to place this type of housing?
Thank you, Pastor. So during my tenure as city councilor, we adopted a low-income or lower-income housing manual that actually tells us where low housing needs to go, where it's in deficit, and therefore, as projects come forward that may look to introduce lower-income housing, then we know where to put them in a logical, strategic fashion. So that actually, I think, is the answer to the question.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Rios?
I've never heard of such a thing. That's new to me. But I think, we need to have water studies and traffic studies done before any development comes into Rio Rancho. And I think we need to alert the citizens who live nearby these residents. I live by Sandia Flats, and I had no clue this was going in, and I'm pretty well connected. And I had no clue the Sandia Flats were coming in. We need to alert and educate the public so that they can go to the city council meetings and voice their thoughts on what is going on in their city. Did I answer that?
You did answer that. You did, in under a minute. Mrs. Owen Smith.
First of all, I feel like you need to keep the residents involved with everything and also give them an equal opportunity to actually own a house and not an apartment. I owned my first house in 2015, and I was, like, if I'm 33 now, you know exactly how old I was then. But they had resources in place for people. Like, you can't just put roadblocks up for people. Like, they should have equal opportunity for able to own a home one day, and I feel like that is so, so, so important in everything. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Meek.
Did I answer it right?
You did answer that question.
Well, I think it's important to differentiate between low-income housing and affordable housing. Low-income housing, which I would refer to as Section 8, which there are ordinances that we have in the city. But I would say we've also brought in affordable housing where it's dictated by the income of the individual, and we need those apartments because people need to be able to work here. That's part of the economic development program, is having people that can afford to live where they work. So I think that you need to take both of those into consideration. They're different topics completely.
Okay, thank you.
So
Mr. Darden.
I'm sorry.
No, you jump right in.
So I believe that obviously we need to be looking into supply and demand. We need to be seeing what our residents actually want and what they actually need. And in terms of housing around the city, where we're seeing a lot of luxury home design. We're seeing a lot of luxury apartment design. And I think that we just need to be encouraging these developers to start building more simplified homes. Like Alitra said, we just need homes for our residents, not homes that are $400,000, just simple homes. And I think that those should exist throughout all sections of the city, throughout the areas of Norton, throughout the areas of Loma, Colorado, throughout all of the sections of the city, so we can encourage more growth to our city.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mrs. Rios, you get the next round of questions. This happened to be our most popular question. As you know, we had a lot of people submit questions online, and this happened to be the most popular question, and it really isn't a surprise. In the news almost every day, we see state and local governments fighting against the federal government over the issue of illegal aliens. Sanctuary cities have prevented ICE from taking those who have been arrested for additional crimes, including felonies, to be detained. What is your stance on this issue?
I am not for sanctuary city status. Let me just put that out there. We need to continue to work with all agencies, not just federal, to keep you and our families safe. Because that is the #1 job of government, is to keep the populace safe. So I am not in favor of sanctuary city status. And I don't know if you guys know this, but you pass policies forbidding your law enforcement to work with those local agencies. I will never put forth an ordinance to do that in this city. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mrs. Owen Smith.
I got that question asked many times. Me personally, I say instead of focus elsewhere, we need to be focused here in our city with things. We have so much work that needs to be done here, so let's start focus on that first.
Okay. I don't want you to skip the question.
Yeah, I did answer it the way I want to answer, yeah.
What is your stance on the issue of
I don't believe in
ICE?
sanctuary cities.
You do believe in sanctuary? No, you do not. Okay, okay. That's what I wanted to get to.
I believe in community cities,
okay,
but not sanctuary cities.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Meek.
No.
Mr. Darden.
All right. Is it my turn now?
It is your turn.
I also don't believe in them either, and because right now we're seeing that they're not being actively executed in the correct fashion. But what I do believe is that we do need to be working with agencies across all lines. That includes Santa Ana Pueblo, that includes our Sandoval County sheriffs, that includes Rio Rancho PD, et cetera, et cetera. But as we've seen, we need to be making sure we're holding all parties accountable, our residents and our law enforcement agents, making sure that they're doing the job correctly and lawfully, especially if they're going to be the ones enforcing said law. So that's where I stand.
Okay. Mr. Weimer.
I'll make it 5 for 5. I'm against sanctuary cities as well. I believe that ICE should be allowed to do their job, but not overreach their authority. And I think that's what we're hearing most on the news is examples from bad actors or folks, ICE that made either the wrong decisions or were provoked into doing so. That's my
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Back to Mrs. Owens-Smith. In July 2023, a drag queen tour event took place at the Rio Rancho Event Center, much to the dismay of many people sitting in this room. Many of our citizens, do you believe the mayor and city council should have any role or say in this type of activity, whether it be at the event center or at a public library, anything that promotes sexual deviancy to our children? That's the question. I know that's a toughie. Clock's rolling.
Just gonna have a simple question. I feel like people should voice their opinion with things.
You should, that's what we want to know is your opinion on that.
Voice their opinion, but it's hard to say yes or no.
That's what we want to know. Would you stand up and say that's not allowed, or that is allowed, or that's not our job,
Sexual and things like that is not allowed. It should be allowed.
Okay.
So that's my answer.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Meek?
Personally, I don't like the idea. I'm not sure what the contract is with the arena, so I'm not informed on what that process was in terms of bringing it in. My guess, it was a moneymaker, and it was brought in because of that. But I believe that we should have a stance at the city, and we should adhere to that.
Okay. Mr. Darden?
I'm a married man, been married for a couple months. I'm not going to promote, hey, you should go marry a woman to somebody. So I don't believe that type of energy should be being promoted to our city either. And I do think that, once again, when it comes to our children, like I said, I'm a former kindergarten teacher. These kids are like sponges, and you don't add oil to an unbuilt engine. In the same way that we shouldn't be adding this type of influence and energy to our children. Let them decide for themselves when their prefrontal cortexes are fully developed. So absolutely not.
Mr. Weimer?
I tend to agree. I was disappointed that that event was allowed. I was told, however, that the policies of the arena don't allow us to restrict who can and can't go into the arena. And if you think it through, again, I am totally against that kind of a presentation. But if we restrict that presentation, then where do we stop restricting? Should we look at it in more detail? I think that definitely would be worth looking into and pursuing and seeing if we need to maybe update the policies for the arena. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Rios?
Well, when that event came to town, we were trying to get out there and protest it. And we decided it wasn't a good idea. But I'm going to tell you, I stood up for pornography in the libraries. And I went and spoke at the city council meeting. We need to protect our children, and we can't hide it as a First Amendment right. Pornography is pornography. And we need to protect our children, and that's what I'm here to do. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, who is next? I think Mr. Meek is next. All right. Mr. Meek, how will you fund the projects such as updating the streets, water needs? You talked about the growing police and fire needs. That comes at a cost. How do you fund those things? How do you accommodate all those things in a growing city?
The true end.
It's you, Mr. Meek.
Sorry, I would say that, the time to address this was 5 years ago, because the only way we're going to be able to afford to pay for more items and more salaries is to have more jobs. That's the only designation we don't have from a magazine is best job location, best place to work, really. We need to bring jobs that will get the incomes up where people are buying their gas here, their food here, their restaurants here, and we really need to get that downtown built up so we can get some activity and get some more income there.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Darden?
So here's the thing. I look at it that the money's already here in our city. We're allocating it in good areas, but we may just need to be reallocated. An example, our Public Works Department is severely underfunded by our general fund. Right now, only 9% of that fund is going toward that, but 42.5% is going to fiduciary. Why can't we just take 2 or 3% from that and put it toward our roads? Also, our roads, an example, we have things called the Transportation Project Fund, which is a grant from the state that will cover 95% of the cost of the road projects that we need. We need to be replacing these polybutylene pipes under our road that keep busting and open up sinkholes. I don't want to drive into a sinkhole, y'all. The end.
Mr. Weimer?
I think this goes back to the budget question or the budget issue that I spoke of earlier. We've got to make sure that we're spending our dollars correctly. And if we speak specifically about roads, 12 years ago when Mayor Hull was first elected, there was no money allocated for repairing roads. He implemented a budget, and that budget has stuck since then, and we've been whittling away at repairing the neighborhood roads. That's an example of taking the money and using the budget as a tool to have some success where it's most needed. So that would be my answer.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Rios?
Can you repeat the question so I can make sure I answer
I
it?
sure can. How will you fund the projects such as updating streets, water needs, paying our police and fire? We're going to need more as the city grows. How would you fund that?
Well, we fund that through taxes, right? This year, did you guys know for the mid-year budget review, we had 1.2, or is it 1.2.1 million dollars surplus? Yeah, we had a lot of money come in. We have some money come in. We are taking in large amounts of money for the lodger's tax. Did you know that? We've got money, like Zach said, we've got money. We got to look where we could spend it wisely and maybe cut some other things in our budget. Thank you.
Okay. Mrs. Owens Smith.
So far, they answer all my stuff, but I can add a little bit more. And since I've been out there actually talking to the small business owners, they truly need help. So as residents, I know we complain, but imagine if we start going out there and supporting them. We support them, they're able to create reliable jobs for residents here in Rio Rancho.
Okay, thank you. See, I think we started with Mr. Meek on that one. So, Mr. Darden, you have the floor. How would you make local government more accessible? Decisions made in meetings more visible, city council meetings more responsive to citizens, and city government more transparent to its citizens?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge one. So once again, I always say that transparency always isn't just about access, it's about understanding. We need to be making our governing body meetings easy to understand whether you're a high schooler or, like I said, whether you have a PhD. So we need to be putting, let's say, a legend, which is, I'm a map person, and a legend tells you exactly what everything is on a map. Put that into the stuff that we're putting out 7 days before we're having these governing body meetings. Let's just have a legend so people can understand what's happening. Also, I want to be the open door policy mayor. I want to be somebody that people can just walk into my office, ask me a question. Geez, I'm out of time, but yes, there you go.
Mr. Weimer.
So on the issue of transparency, the city, regardless of what we hear regularly, does a pretty darn good job. We don't have to do, for example, 7-day notice of public hearings. 3 days is all we have to do. We do 7. We have hearings for ordinances twice. We have a first reading and a second reading before it becomes law. Only 1 reading is required. We have a newsletter that goes out quarterly, which tells residents all the things that are going on in the city. There are a number of things that we do over and above what is required regarding transparency. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Rios.
I think we do a pretty good job, Paul. I think we can always do better. If you haven't been on the city website to look at the bill tracker for ordinances, there isn't one. We need to update that so residents don't always have to file an IPRA request to get information that they want. Regular things should be on the website so we can access it directly. Transparency is a big issue. And I would also, since I'm the educator here, I would like to educate people on what is going on. Because half of the time we don't know what is going on, and you need somebody to educate you and help you. And I want to be that person because I like doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Owen-Smith.
Yes, so I attend one of the meetings in person. I really didn't like it. I feel like when you walk in, you should be greeted at the door. And I also feel like they should not have to fill out a form to voice their opinion on their money.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Meek?
I think it would combine transparency and micromanagement. I have a fellow person who's out on the campaign trail and just wanted to go and ask a manager a question, simple question, and had to be accompanied in this meeting by somebody who was higher up in the agency. I've also been told by people who work with the city of Rio Rancho in interactions between agencies that they're not able to respond without having an approval or a sign-off from the very top floor. There's no transparency where people are dictating through notices that you can only do it one way.
Thank you very much. All right, that ends our 1-minute questions, and we're going to go into what we call a lightning round, which is not so lightning, because I'm going to give you 30 seconds to respond. It's a yes or no question, but if you feel a need to add a little bit extra to it, you can, okay? So, Mr. Weimer, we picked this up with you, and so the question is, what do you see as the greatest issue that will be facing our city over the next 4 years?
I thought it was yes or no.
All right, let's see. You're right, it was. Well, you just take 30 seconds to figure that one out.
No kidding. Yes.
Who wrote that?
I think daily, all of us on the council get questions about the condition of the roads. That's certainly got to be one of the top priorities. We've got to continue to work on those. I mentioned earlier, police and fire. We've got to keep those folks employed. We've got to keep treating them right, and that may take money. That may take, again, adjusting the budget. We'll need to have that conversation. I know that raising taxes is not something anybody wants to do, nor does anybody in this room want to see happen. So that's why I think it's critical that we, in order to tackle those top-notch items, that we go into the budget and evaluate it very carefully. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Rios, there is no yes or no question here.
Can you read it again?
I can.
Yes or no?
Yeah. So this is not a yes or no question. What do you see as the greatest issue that will be facing our city over the next 4 years?
I think from listening to residents, it's water, and making sure that our development that we put in here has adequate water. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Owen-Smith.
Housing,
Housing.
healthcare, jobs, and reliable resource for these kids.
Okay. Mr. Meek.
I would like to see Rio Rancho be the choice of all the developers to come to first in the state by being open and inviting to them.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Darden.
I also agree with Rios. I think water is our biggest concern right now. We're in one of the most severe droughts we've ever seen. I mean, we've only had really 2 rain events this entire winter, and we're almost about to hit March. So we have to do everything we can to protect our water. Like I said, no water equals no growth.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Rios,
Oh, yes.
you ready?
Yes.
So the answer is yes before
Yes.
I say it? Okay, there you go. Oh, good. Okay, do you support or oppose voter ID?
100% support voter ID.
Okay,
And I also support the SAVE Act, where we have to actually check citizenship. Because we have voter ID right now in Rio Rancho, thank goodness, but our IDs here in New Mexico do not check citizenship.
okay, thank you. Mrs. Owen-Smith.
Yes, I support voter ID.
Okay,
It
thank
keeps
you.
us safe, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
That's it.
Mr. Meek?
I'm sorry, can you hit me that question one more time? That's the first time. Voter ID, okay, no, that's good. I am definitely for voter ID, and we should have it. And I have to say, we were at the risk of losing it had it not been for last-minute action by the citizens. I believe we probably could have given that up.
Thank you. That's right. Mr. Darden.
I have to show my ID to get a library card. So, of course, yes, I support voter ID.
Mr. Weimer.
Absolutely, 100%.
Absolutely, 100%. Okay. All right. Next question, we'll start with Ms. Owen Smith on this one. There are currently over 150 pornographic books in the Rio Rancho public school libraries. I don't know, however, if everybody knew that, but it exists and it's real. I've seen the titles. Do you believe the mayor or city council has a place to question the school board and get these books removed?
Absolutely, they need to be removed.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Meek?
I would agree.
Mr. Darden?
Absolutely. Kids nowadays are accessing pornographic materials at the age of 8. So it needs to go. It needs to go. It's unacceptable. And like I said, if the kids, their prefrontal cortexes aren't developed, there's 0% reason that should be in our library.
Mr. Weimer?
I generally agree that they should be restricted. I will tell you that schools are the schools. They make their rules and regulations. The city does not make rules and regulations for the city. I will tell you that the library system here in Rio Rancho has different levels of library card. There is no other place that has that, and that restricts the kind of book that a person can check out. So if you're underage, you have a restriction on your library card. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Rios?
Yes, I was one of the speakers at the City Council in 2023 to bring light to the pornographic materials in the library. We spoke out very loud and clear to our City Council, and then I think they came back with a resolution in support of what the libraries were doing. So it is absolutely imperative that we protect our children. And if I get in there and there's some issue, I, as the mayor, can sponsor an ordinance to get things and protect our children, because that's what the governing body's supposed to do.
All right. Mr. Meek, this question goes to you. You'll start. If elected, would you expand, reduce, or maintain the size of Rio Rancho's government?
I don't think I'm in favor of enlarging government. We have 6 councilors, and we have a mayor to break the vote. The more people you have trying to decide, and more than 3 people, it gets very, very difficult if you've ever been in a meeting trying to get a consensus. So I would say that the size it is right now is perfect, and I'm not against the way we have it with the mayor being a weak mayor.
Okay. Mr. Darden.
I agree on that, too. It's like when you have too many cooks in the kitchen, nothing's going to get done. So I think that, yeah, we have a pretty good-sized government now. If anything, I think we have too big of a government. It's probably controversial to say. But, yeah, I don't think that we need to expand it anymore. I think we just need to be expanding you guys to actually be involved in these decisions more than we're doing.
Thank you. Mr. Weimer?
I think we need to watch the population, because as population grows, there should be more citizen representation. Right now, my statement would be yes, we have the right size of government. I will also say that from a budget standpoint, City of Rio Rancho operates with the least number of staff compared to number of residents. That translates into tax savings. It's a very efficient running machine. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Rios.
Are you talking about the government or the city staff?
If elected, would you expand, reduce, or maintain the size of Rio Rancho's government?
I think it's working okay right now.
Okay. Okay. Mrs. Owen Smith.
I feel like it's going great right now, but as we continue growing, involve our residents more with
Okay.
voting.
Thank you.
And not allowing them not to vote, I feel like that's not okay.
Okay. So, Mr. Darden, this one is yours. Do you have plans to attract business to Rio Rancho, and how?
Oh, absolutely. Well, like I said before, I think the way to attract more business to Rio Rancho is supporting the business that's already here. So I think that we need to be having less red tape when it comes to the permitting process, when it comes to signage, and we need to be marketing the businesses that we have here. Once we have good rapport with the businesses that exist here, is how that trend gets out and more businesses come in. So that's my plan for that. And also, like I said, just asking you guys what you want to see in the city, having more art, having more things of historical nature. So yes, absolutely, I want to attract more.
Thank you. Mr. Weimer?
So yes, I would definitely try to encourage expansion of business and retention of business in our city. We recently at the city hired a business development manager. His job is solely to go out and work with existing business to see if they need help and how best to help them and retain them or allow them to grow. I also agree we should be working with the Sandoval Economic Alliance, the Chamber, all of the organizations that are out there working hard for really every area, whether it's Sandoval County or Rio Rancho, to bring business to our city and the county.
Thank you. Mrs. Rios?
I think the one thing we can do for small businesses is make Rio Rancho a little bit more welcoming. I have heard from several small business owners that they go down there to get help with licensing and they get attitude. And you know what? That's not a good reflection of the city of Rio Rancho. I also would like to look at a small convention center because I am tired of driving to Albuquerque to go do things. We can have a small convention center somewhere, and we can find the money somewhere. We need to keep our tax dollars here and stop the GRT leakage. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Owen Smith?
Yes. Well, first we need to create a small business department at the City Hall. That would be great. Then also having the accurate resource for them and cut all that red tape for unnecessary reasons.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Meek?
I speak to a lot of business owners and developers, and two of the items they say that is the most frustrating coming to do business in the city, the one is how long it takes plans to be reviewed. And it just takes an exorbitant amount of time. When I left, we used to have a developer would come in, and everybody who was involved in the plan review process met them, told them what they needed to do, and they knew what they had to do. Now, they go out, they come back with the modification, they get sent back out, they get them back. And so I think that we need to make it easier, and also impact fees are killing us.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Weimer? New question. Is there a person whom you would most identify yourself with in your worldview that we would know? Oh, yeah. You like that question?
Wow. Wow.
Everybody else has time to think.
If I remember it's yes or no. No.
Yeah.
No. That's a hard question. Gosh, I don't have an answer.
Okay.
I don't.
Mrs. Rios?
Well, first and foremost, I don't have a secular worldview. I have a biblical worldview. And I follow the Lord Jesus Christ in and out of church, everywhere. But the one person that I look up to the most is my husband.
Okay, nice. Okay. Mrs. Owen Smith?
I look up to my mom and God.
Okay. Very good. Mr. Meek?
This is almost like, what tree did I want to be? I would say that I don't have a specific person, but I believe the two things that are most important is being fair and being understanding and listening to people. And I think those three traits are what make a leader be successful.
Okay, thank you. I would say my dad. My dad's a military vet. He's a pastor, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. So my father. And I hope he can hear me in Indiana.
All right. Next question starts with Ms. Rios. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the strongest, how do you feel about the Second Amendment and the total right to carry without permit?
I'm 100% for it.
Okay. Mrs. Owen Smith.
You said out of 1 to 10?
Yes, ma'am.
10.
10? Okay, thank you. Mr. Meek?
I would say a 10, yes.
Okay. Mr. Darden?
12 out of 10.
12. Mr. Weimer?
Okay, then, 15 out of 10.
We have a winner.
Go 20.
All right. The last question on this. This goes to Mrs. Owen Smith. Do you support using DEI policies for hiring within our city government?
No.
Okay. Told you there was yes or no questions. Mr. Meek?
No, I believe every man and woman should stand up on their own character and person.
Thank you. Mr. Darden?
I'd also say no. I think skill comes down more importantly than anything. I'd rather the pilot that's flying my plane be skilled instead of being black. But we need black pilots too. So yes. So yes.
Mr. Weimer?
Absolutely not. I think that someone that has worked hard and is more skilled or has more talent or more experience to do the job than someone who is a different, whether male, female, black, white, whatever. It should be based on your skill and your experience.
And Ms. Rios?
Well, being that I'm running for mayor, I think it's time we have a really short female mayor. I'm just kidding. Don't go around saying on Facebook I'm for DEI. I'm not for DEI. The best person for the job is who needs to get the job. Agree?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Well, with that, we will start our your ending question or your ending statement that you would like to have everybody here to remember as we leave and get ready for our election on March 3rd. So, Mr. Meek, you have 2 minutes to give us your statement.
Well, as I said, I've been serving this community now for 35 years. And the most important thing we have to do is be open to people coming in and joining us here. And it's the number one most important thing that hasn't been addressed. And if people will not allow businesses to come in freely and to be able to produce jobs and money for our community, there's not a way for us to claw our way out of this other than tax. And I don't want taxes. So I think that our best solution is to keep our doors open, find a way to encourage people to come in. I am not able to believe that after 20 years, not one person wanted to come into downtown and develop. That's where the biggest chunks of land that are in one piece are. But you know what you have to do to get into those land areas is you have to be willing to work with other agencies. You have to be willing to work with the state economic secretary. You have to be willing to vote or be willing to work with the counties and cities around you. I know I'm talking a lot about jobs, but it is the number one thing that I want to help us with. And I thank you all for coming tonight and giving us all your time. You were very kind, and thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Darden.
In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. That's from Albert Einstein. So ladies and gentlemen, we're in a difficult time right now in our nation. The country we live in seems with each passing year to become more the divided states of America rather than the United States of America. But with every dark night rises new light. I myself, 10 years ago, this very time of the year, was laying in a hospital bed, and I was begging God to give me another chance. But here I am. I'm standing before you today. I'm strong, I'm motivated, and I'm ambitious to give back to the city that's given so much to me. So use me as your example. Even in our lowest time, a flame can rise from the ashes, and all it takes is faith of a mustard seed to grow into a flourishing, beautiful city that we can all be proud of. I want to thank y'all for the bottom of my heart, truly, at this opportunity. And I will leave you with this. As I said, being a former kindergarten teacher, My students used to say, Darden rhymes with garden. And in a garden, don't judge each day by the harvest that you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. So Rio Rancho, it's time. It's time to grow, it's time to be better, and it's time to keep the city of vision from turning into the city of division. Thank you so much.
Mr. Weimer.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank Calvary Church and the members that are here, as well as all those that are watching online. Thank you to my opponents. I appreciate you guys being here as well. But thanks most to all of those that are not members but are still watching. Thank you all for being here. I opened my presentation with a statement of my commitment to our city. I'll remind you of my 43 years raising a family here, my current tenure as a city councilor, and my past involvement as a planning and zoning board member. I mentioned my endorsements of Mayor Hall, Police and Fire, and 3 of my fellow councilors. I didn't mention that at one point in my life I was a volunteer coach and board member for Sunset Little League, providing guidance to our youth. I didn't mention my background as a licensed architect and certified planner. I described my direct City of Rio Rancho government experience. My knowledge of city policies and procedures is second to none. My relationship with the city council and city staff is unparalleled. These relationships are critical to moving the city forward. I'm a strong and positive advocate for our city. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be your next mayor. We do not need change. We need consistency. I am that consistency. Thank you.
Ms. Rios.
Our city doesn't need more politics. It needs principled leadership. A mayor who will exhibit godly integrity, transparency, and accountability. I believe so strongly in term limits that our founding fathers wanted for our country that I'm willing to say I will be a one-term mayor. I am not afraid to say that the City of Vision needs improvement in some areas. We all need improvement. Change is inevitable, and if we want the right kind of change, we must be willing to look honestly at what isn't working. We need more transparency, accountability, and we need residents involved in the process. That's what I plan to do, is bring you aboard, bring you residents on board to get a renewed vision for Rio Rancho. I've done nothing alone in my life. My mom, my dad, my husband have always been there. We can make Rio Rancho even better if we stick together. I would be honored and blessed to have your vote. Thank you.
Mrs. Owen Smith.
Yes, Rio Rancho deserves a mayor who listens, acts, and make life better for everyone, every day. I'm ready to lead with heart, experience, and results because families deserve a bright future here in Rio Rancho. I'm Alicia Smith, and I am running to be your next mayor. Are you ready to get to work, Rio Rancho? Because I am.
Okay, well, that wraps up our forum for today. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to be here. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to invest in your own city. It is very, very important what we're doing here. I will assume that the candidates will be here for a few minutes and they can they can visit with you and would love to have that conversation with you. So thank you very much. God bless each and every one of you. We look forward to what is next. And thank you for audience for your participation. Thank you for the online audience. May God